great question. I've seen some people pick it up after the 2-day training. I've seen people struggle with it for months and months. It just depends on how often you use it. Right? It's one of those things, the more you use it, it just becomes second nature then. Right? I can just go through and I can actually just type this by hand and say, okay, well, this parameter is this type, comma, comma, this. But to be honest, I still use Function Wizard because it's so much easier. I misspell things all the time. I'd rather just drop it down, find your table, find my field.
And it helps correct it for you too.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. Keeps it from being incorrect. You know, I'd say if you used it consistently for a month or two, you I think would feel really, really comfortable.
Fluid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Depends on what you're doing and how often you're using it. Now, you may find you only need to do the same thing over and over again, and then you're going to be really proficient really quickly.
My other question here is, does this have all, when I was going through this through the day, or last night, I didn't notice, does it have everything in here, all the tables in Endless in here?
That I would assume so, yeah, but I don't know your database, so.
Okay.
Yes, it has all of Endless. In fact, I think they start with 50,000 or something. They're all clustered together, so it's all now all Endless. No other data source currently is hooked in, but it will be all of Endless and all of now.
You know, he needs to do what Scott was doing with us yesterday to get to the SMI training.
We'll do
You
it
were
at
going
break.
yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm still not.
Yeah. Well, I was told, Patricia said that you guys are going to be working in teams instead of everybody working on their own thing. So we're still going to try and get that resolved. But you know, from what I was told, we were going to be working in teams. Just because of a large group, I wasn't going to be able to hit every single person.
This is typical SMI communication, just so you're aware.
Sweet. Okay. Well, those of you that currently aren't licensed, work with the team for right now. But yeah, you know, typically when I go on site, I've got like 6 people, 5 people. I don't have 10 to 12 people. And I told Patricia that, you know, going in, I said, the more people we have, the less time I can spend with each person on day 3, right? I have, most of the time I have 6 hours. Once we're done with all of the additional questions, split that up against 12 people, take our lunch break, and spending 15, 20 minutes with each person. That's usually not enough time. Because that's fine, they're going to be working in teams, and, you know, we're going to have a couple finance people working together.
She's not doing it, who cares?
Yeah. So that was what I was told. That's different, we'll work on it, but for right now, until we get the licensing, some of you will have to team up and work together. So here was a balance sheet, and this is what I was talking about yesterday is, right, some of this stuff I have to just build, right? There's no easy way around it. So I have to say, okay, well, here are my current assets, my liquid assets, that's account this number here, right? Or my vehicles, it's a range of accounts. Or my accumulated depreciation, it's this account, or this account. It's not a range, it's this one, or this one. So this is all just me typing it in, finding out what accounts apply to those various balance sheet measures there. And then I just build my GL functions like a normal. Give me the balance of this account on, well, he's got it built for the 28th of May. And then he had a comparative to last year. But some reports you just have to do the manual labor up front to list out all this stuff because there's no way to really dynamically list this out.
See, the good thing for us is that our balance sheet and income statements are built in Excel, right? With the ACPAC GLs, we just need to cross-reference the GLs for this.
Oh, the income statement's changed. It's totally changed. It's going to be a new format.
Well, thanks, Paul.
No, I mean,
But still,
I didn't do it.
the GL codes are still great.
Agreed.
It's not even 10 yet, don't point fingers.
So like for the balance sheet, if you guys are going to be working on the balance sheet, take our existing balance sheet. If you want to leave the format the same, leave the format the same. All you do is reference that account. You can leave the name, like the description that he has in column E. You can write whatever you want there because it's always going to be yours to go back and reference other stuff.
Yeah.
So now, were you pulled on the GL?
Here?
Yeah, so the dimensions are blank in there.
Correct.
So it's just going to pull everything for that company.
Right.
Okay. So like I'm thinking of like your summaries where it lists every plant location has a row. So we're going to have to type every row. And
So
go to
yeah,
every
you,
cell?
yeah, if you wanted, liquid assets for your 3 different plants or whatever plants, so yeah, you'd have liquid assets and then subheading this account, or you just build your dimensions across the top, right? So for this account, this is Mercedes, this is Toyota, right? That's just those dimensions, right?
Right.
And so I reference this account with this dimension, this account with this dimension.
In the vision, does it just, if we just are pulling in that account, does it automatically assume that we're pulling in the like consolidated amounts?
Yeah,
Or does
that's what I'm
it pull
saying,
in
so as
like
long as
based on
that
person?
dimension is blank, it's gonna put everything within that company.
Okay.
So
Within like
US
SMI
class.
consolidations, okay.
No, the company.
Oh,
Now, when we're in the consolidated company, that's a different
okay,
story.
so then I'd be
We just have to
working
be
just
careful.
consolidated.
There's two things that we're gonna have to specify beyond the account. One's the company and one's the dimension.
Do we have to automatically upload consolidations to the consolidated company, or it does that?
That is gonna be a process through consolidation. So we're gonna have,
But it's manual, no?
yes.
So
yes.
similar to what we're currently doing?
It's not dynamic. So it's a process whereby that's where your multi-currency takes place, your translation adjustments, that's where your ELIMs go. But yes, it's not something that if you post to company A, it goes to consolidation.
Now, you might be able to get around some of that because he shows, and that's when I walked in, I think he hit that first off this morning, where you could actually point it directly to, using the keyword,
Mhm.
what,
But yeah, but then you'd have to worry about like FX translations and stuff like that, which you're gonna have to worry about anyways, but.
I mean, the majority of the companies that we're working in, the majority of plants that we're working in isn't within one company. Because the company structure, the legal entity / company structure, very similar to what we have in Impact, very similar.
Yeah,
So shall I
I think
just
it'll be good for a
kinda
lot of
show you?
boards, but-
Basically what I just did is I used the columns to pull my project codes, right? And so I've got one that's blank and then I've got 3. So I've got my this is the only one that's actually highlighted here, where I did this on. So in my GL function, I said, okay, well, that project code, I'm gonna have it located right here in my columns replicator. Now I added this little @ in beginning, the special characters, because that says, if I look at that and it's blank, if I don't have that, it's gonna throw an error message. So this is one way you can get around that. Say, I know it's going to be blank, don't throw an error message for me. But now when I run this, here's this one account. I hid the account numbers. But the GL just for this account with no dimension. And then give me the balance with Mercedes or Toyota or VW. So I just built the columns out to show those dimensions. And so that's one way you could get around it is here's the value when there's no dimension, no plant. And then here's the dimension when it's got these various dimensions. And I could build another column right here that shows me, my department code, right? Dynamically build out my department codes, so I can get that as well. Now, if I need to overlap them, that's when you get really, really complicated, and we'd have to build something completely different. I wouldn't know a way really to build it to look something like this, because we'd have to build some sort of matrix.
Good question, Glenn. So in each individual company, is it gonna have like a local currency and a US dollar, since it has like all of the accounts have
Each
like?
company's gonna have a domestic currency, so obviously
Well,
can.
That's why you wanna hold it LCY.
Yeah, with your
Yes, but
GL
that's what I'm
transaction,
saying,
though,
like,
it's
is
always
it
gonna be in
have
that
it
local
both,
currency.
Like local currency, and then you just load an FX rate to that individual company, so it has a balance sheet available, like an amount in local currency and US dollars, or it only happens on the consolidated entity level.
You're gonna intermingle, let's talk Canada, you're gonna have most of it in Canadian dollars. You are gonna have transactions in US dollars. Those will be intermingled on the Canadian company. The actual translation adjustment to the